Hey guys, it's your friend No Name Trapper with you here on another episode of Real Talk. Today's subject's very important as usual, especially though for you dog proof trappers. Alright, as a guy who's ran a lot of dog proofs, I've learned a lot of things over the years. I've ran them all season around. I do a lot of nuisance work, and so I want to point out some things about dog proofs. Now, a lot of times here in Iowa, in the fall when we start running dog proofs, the weather's still pretty decent. Um, but when it drops off and it gets cold, your dog proof starts getting robbed of its bait by mice because their food sources dwindle and they're hungry, and so they'll clean out a dog proof pretty quick. Now, if you fill it up to the brim, it'll give you more time. I like to fill mine the trigger. So, with that being said, the ways to get around it is a styrofoam cup or like a plastic cup over the top. Now, I've seen guys use the golf ball with the chain. Uh, the guys I've talked to who've used that, the chain busted. They lost the golf ball. They've tried more golf balls, and it's just a kind of a consistent flow like that. Kind of a pain in the butt. Uh, so in the end, I believe styrofoam cup or plastic cup's the way to go. The raccoons tend to just either the cup's still there or they eat them. I've got to believe they eat them because they're disappeared completely. So yeah. Anyways, if you're getting robbed when it gets cold, um, it could be the mice, and if it is, that's how you take a step to fix that problem. Now, with that being said, if it's not cold, if it's not bitter cold, and your dog proofs are empty, everybody blames the mice. Truth of the matter is, a lot of times it's a raccoon. You think I'm crazy, but I've had nuisance jobs where the clients called me, and I had one where the lady watched it mid-evening in her yard. The raccoon reached down there, kept grabbing handful of bait. I believe I was using nuts and berries trail mix, ate all of it, and walked right back into the woods. So I thought, well, something's got to be wrong with the trap. So the next day I come check it out, trap's just fine, fire's just fine. You got to think those raccoon fingers are very narrow. So what I did was I just reached around and didn't set off the trap. Okay, so that is something you really got to put in your head, is that could be happening to you. These raccoons, especially like an old sow, they get pretty clever, and that's what was the scenario with this. All right, so how did I offset? Was I put sticky my Three Seasons fruit lure down there with the trail mix, so it was really sticky. Next day I had that sow raccoon. I believe it was the same one because we had trapped essentially every coon in the area at that point, and yeah, and they didn't see a raccoon after that for days, weeks, months. So, anyways, that is something you want to think about when running dog proofs, and that is a trick to get around it. Something sticky down on the trigger where they have to fumble around a little bit. If you're running a dry bait, they could be robbing you blind, even in the fall. And like I said, when mice kick in, um, that's when it's time to run the styrofoam cup. Also, when you run that styrofoam or plastic cup, what I do want to point out is actually um, raccoons visually are very attracted to like very light colors like white or very dark colors. They with their vision, they're kind of color blind, but they can see like a light and a very dark. So um, white is very attractive to them. So that styrofoam cup or whatever, that could be helping you out. Now I know most of your dog proofs have just the thin prong. If you look inside there, it has the most of them, and you guys aren't going to be able to see that, probably not very well, but there's a thin trigger that goes right down the center. Now the Bridger ones make a circle in there, and so that was I think that would decrease the chance of them robbing your bait a little bit, because it's a little harder to reach around with the network kind of going on down there. Also, I know the No BS ones have mouse guard, I believe, that they come with, and that helps with that. Plus, they can't really reach around that as well without firing it and getting the bait. Okay, so those are some things you want to think about as well. But anyways, guys, if your dog proofs are empty and it's warm weather, don't always blame the mice. You could be getting robbed by a raccoon. So anyways, guys, that's this episode of Real Talk. I think there's some great information there, and I think and I hope you take it into consideration, because you know, I've sure learned the hard way. So anyways, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Appreciate you all. Tight chains out there.